Hi and welcome to this second topic here in October. So I'm going to talk about how to take responsibility for your own results. So if you want to start believing in yourself and your ability to quit sugar, you need to be prepared to take responsibility for everything in your life, including your results. So if you're blaming other people or circumstances, that is always going to be pretty much impossible. It's a really, really bad idea to do that. It's never going to serve you, and it's probably one of the worst things that you can do if you want to change. Because it leaves you completely powerless. You have given someone else all the power over you, basically. And as long as you are being the victim of your circumstances, you won't be able to quit. Because if your circumstances decide what is happening in your life, you cannot change them. You just rely on other things to change them for you. So even if you think it's justified that you're blaming someone, that someone has done something terrible to you, as long as you remain a helpless victim, you won't be able to move forward. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And when you're blaming someone else, you're not hurting them, you're only hurting yourself. That's a good one to keep in mind as well. Because usually we are mad at other people, we blame them, and we want them to hurt as much as we hurt, or similar. They don't usually care. Doesn't bother them at all. The only one it bothers is you, because you are the one who's upset. You are the one who's going to feel out of control because you have given your power to this person. So the definition of blame is literally to declare that someone or something else is responsible for something. And you're most likely correct, they are responsible for something. But you need to ask yourself, what is it that they are responsible for? And we're going to come back to this in a little bit. But what we tend to do is that we tend to assign responsibility for how we feel to someone else. So we think about the person or the situation that we blame, and then we just have to ask ourselves, is this the person that I want to delegate my feelings to? Do you really want this person to be in charge of how you feel? I really don't think so. That's probably one of the last people on earth that you want to be responsible, have responsibility over your feelings. And still we do this all the time because we feel justified in doing so. And usually we're telling other people, this person did this and now I am sad or upset or angry. And then you tell people and they will all agree with you. They will sit there and they will comfort you and they will think that your justification is totally right and you have all the right in the world to be angry at this person. But what I want to tell you is that it doesn't hurt the other person, it only hurts you. So it doesn't serve you at all to blame other people. And we all do this. We do it because it feels good in the moment. It feels good to just hand over the responsibility for how we feel to someone else right then. Because then we don't have to really go through the hard work of changing how we're thinking about things. But what you're also doing when you do that is that you're handing over the responsibility for your own empowerment to this person. So ultimately, they are completely in charge of you and your feelings when you do that. So what I would want to suggest is that you stop giving your power away completely if you can, and and reclaim the power that you have already delegated to someone else or something else. And this is not a very hard process to do, to reclaim that. But I know that it will be really hard to never give it away again. But with practice, you will actually be able to become quite good at not doing it and taking responsibility for how you feel most of the time. And at those times where you're not able to do that, you can just reclaim your power as soon as you come back to reality and you feel a bit more grounded, I guess, and you're able to do so. Because in the moment, we're not always able to be that mature about things. That's just how we are, we're human. Now, think about this. If someone else is responsible for how you feel, you will have to depend on them if you want to change how you feel. And that's quite a terrible thought. I have a feeling that the last person on earth that you want to depend on is the person that you're blaming or the circumstance that you're blaming. But even if it wasn't the last person on earth, even if it's someone that you kind of trust, do you really want to depend on someone else to dictate how you are going to feel? Wouldn't you rather just be in control of that yourself? I know what the answer is for me. And the best news is that you can absolutely decide yourself. You can take control of that. It might not always feel like it, but you are the only one who is responsible for how you feel. Always. And that is never going to change. But you are also the one who's choosing to give that responsibility away. And when you do that, you're not able to actually choose how to feel right now. So when we blame other people or situations, we will need them to change in order for us to feel better. And that usually doesn't happen. So just think about things like something very trivial that most couples go through. We're blaming our partners for not having emptied the bin because we feel as if we're doing it all the time. And we get really, really annoyed and upset that the bin hasn't been emptied, or because he or she hasn't done it. So when we do this, we're giving them the power to change our emotions. If they empty the bin, we will be happy. If they're not, we will be sad or upset or angry. And that is a little bit crazy. But most of us do it with very small things that actually in the long run they really do not matter. But we get so upset by those little things rather than just accept that the bin has not been empty. I could ask him or her to do it, but I don't need to be upset about it. They can refuse to do it, but you don't have to be upset about their refusal. You could choose to do it yourself. You could even choose to leave the relationship if you want. If it's a huge deal that the bin hasn't been emptied. So you need to reclaim your power here and not let yourself get dragged into those, literally attaching your emotions to circumstances that are happening around you. So back to making other people responsible. It can absolutely be appropriate to assign responsibility to someone else for an action that they have taken, but that isn't necessarily the same thing as blame. So let's say that your co-worker did not finish their work on time, and that means that you couldn't start doing your part on time either. So now you have fallen behind at work and you want to blame them. So the fact is that they didn't finish their work on time, but that does not necessarily mean that they will have to invoke some sort of negative emotions within you. It's just a fact that it didn't happen. They just didn't do it. And there's no reason for you to be caught up in that emotionally. So you can absolutely tell your boss that you are not finished with your work because you couldn't start until later. So therefore you are going to need a little bit more time to actually finish it. And that can be totally neutral. You're just conveying some facts, you're telling them what happened, and that's it. But you cannot say that you are totally stressed out because your coworker didn't finish on time. The being stressed out part, that is totally on you. That is your responsibility, how you're thinking about this scenario. And that's why I'm talking so much about how we can change our thinking. And I'm going to go into that even more next week and the week following that. But you are always the one who's choosing what to think about something, and that ultimately will lead to you feeling a certain way. So if you're thinking that they didn't finish on time, and now I'm going to have to stress about it, and I'm going to have to work overtime, and I'm going to have to do all these things, of course you're going to be caught up in that emotionally. But you could choose to have different thoughts about it. So most of us just want to put this into a blame package, if you like. They didn't do their work and that made me feel upset. Then we come home, we're in a bad mood, we feel stressed, we are reaching for the cake. Then we get upset that we ate the cake and we blame our co-worker for us eating the cake as well. Because if they hadn't upset you at work, you wouldn't have eaten that cake. And that's not a good place to be. You are completely powerless. It's like you had no choice but to eat the cake because you were stressed and that was their fault. But you do have a choice. And you did have a choice early on. You could have stopped yourself from actually feeling that stressed. So other people are never, ever responsible for how you feel. And I truly mean that. Some people are going to argue and disagree with me, and I'm happy to have that argument. But many people don't want to believe it because they do want to give the power away. It is much more comfortable to be powerless, because then you don't have to take responsibility for anything. You can just go through life and blame other things, and there's no hardship in that. You will suffer while you're doing it, but you don't have to go through the hard work of actually taking responsibility for yourself feeling better. So whenever you think that someone has made you angry or stressed or anything else that we do as a result of feeling that way, we always want to blame other people for doing it. So please don't do that. And I will say it again, the only one responsible for how you feel and your actions are you. So whenever you notice yourself blaming someone else or something else, you just stop yourself right there and ask yourself what you can do to change your thinking instead. So your coworker didn't your coworker didn't finish their work on time. Now you are behind at work. This fact doesn't have to make you feel stressed. You can choose to just accept it and move on with your day. You can choose to think that the circumstances at work have now changed and ask yourself, how can you better organize yourself to deal with this in the best possible way, given the new circumstances? Other things that you can do to improve your work situation. You can think about new ways of doing things at work that will make you more efficient at what you're doing. And dealing with this situation at work in a mature way by finding new solutions, by increasing your efficiency at work, will it make you feel any different? Ask yourself that, because I bet it does. It will most likely make you feel pretty good and proud of yourself that you have been able to handle this in a mature way. You most likely come home by the end of the day and you will give yourself a pat on the back because you handle this situation like a pro, like someone who you might not even recognize, someone who is better than you think that you are. But you have now stepped up to this, and you are now actually proving to yourself that you are able to do things that you didn't think that you could do. And as a result, you will start believing in yourself and your abilities to do pretty much anything on a completely different level. And guess what? You will also probably start believing that you can do things like relax at home in the evening without having the cake. And that you are a person that can make things happen. Because you just aced it at work. Why can't you do that at home? Of course you can. You will just, you might start believing that your old belief that you cannot stop eating sugar is just a false belief that you've had for a very long time. But now you saw a glimmer of hope. You saw that you could do something. You could change how you were thinking about something, and therefore your feelings about that matter and the results that you got from that. What if you could do that around quitting sugar? So there are lots of benefits from taking this to pretty much any area in your life. Whenever you're faced with a challenge and you feel like you are being the victim, someone has put you in this situation, how can you use that to your advantage to grow and make things better and turn it into whatever you want it to be? That's the challenge. That's where I want you to focus. Be a problem solver and move forward in a direction that you want to move forward in. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I hope that this has been helpful to you. I have thoroughly enjoyed putting these videos together in October. And each time I do, I get a reminder myself, actually. And it's not only helping you, which I hope it is anyway, but it's also helping me stay on track and keep growing and developing new concepts and thoughts and moving forward in my life. So if you want to have a chat with me about anything cravings related or anything related to any of the topics in October or even the previous month, you can join me on a Zoom, which is a little app that you can download. It's very easy to do. On the 24th of October, it's the 25th morning, the 25th here in New Zealand, so it's 24th for most of the world. And I will coach you live. You just have to be willing to go on camera. And you can sign up to that under the October tab in the monthly topic tab in the membership area. So if you're not yet a member, you can find the link to the membership down in the description to this video. You just click that, you sign up, it's totally free. And then you go and check out the monthly topic tab and you can sign up there. It should be up in the calendar. And then you just join me and I will answer any questions you have or coach you live, and it would be awesome. So you're more than welcome to come and do that. So again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so and help this channel to grow. Help me help more people. I would really appreciate that. And like the video as well. If you like what I was saying, I would appreciate that too. And then I want you to go and have a beautiful day and think about how you can move forward in your life and what you can do to improve your life moving forward. So I will see you again next week. Bye.